What about hundreds of contemporary lawyers who, on the grounds of strict legal evidence, accept the New Testament as historical accurate? The eminent Lord Chancellor Hailsham has twice held the highest office possible for a lawyer in England, that of Lord Chancellor. He wrote The Door Wherein I Went, in which he upholds the truth of the Christian religion. What of Jacques Ellul, or of Sir Norman Anderson, one of the greatest authorities on Islamic law, who is a Christian convinced of New Testament authority and reliability? Certainly, such men are well acquainted with legal reasoning and have just as certainly concluded that the evidence for the historical truthfulness of the Scriptures is beyond reasonable doubt, as apologist, theologian, and lawyer John W. Montgomery observes in The Law Above the Law, considering the ancient documents constitute competent evidence if there is no evidence of tampering, and they have been accurately transmitted. The Parallel Evidence Rule: Scripture must interpret itself without foreign intervention. The Hearsay Rule: the demand for primary source of evidence, and the Cross-Examination Principle: the inability of the enemies of Christianity to disprove its central claim that Christ resurrected bodily from the dead in spite of the motive and opportunity to do so. All these directly or indirectly to support the preponderance of evidence for Christianity, while the burden of proof proper and the legal burden for disproving it rests with the critic, who in 2,000 years has yet to prove his case. How about that one? It's been 2,000 years since the New Testament was written, and yet still Muslims, liberal scholars, atheists, all these other crowds, and all this crowd, ain't no one of them that disprove the Bible. They can't do it. They can sit around and argue. Now they'll find one verse somewhere and say, "See there, I got you," but then they'll find out later they took it out of context and it was saying, but it wasn't saying what they thought it was saying. They haven't been able to disprove the Bible, and they never will disprove it. So they need to just give up. Why don't they just? What it is, they just want to be a bunch of rebels. They want to do what they want to, and they don't like it. They don't like somebody saying, and they don't want to be thought of as wrong. They don't like to be told they're wrong. They just want to disprove everything. They always want to be the one to disprove it, and they just, instead of just converting to Christ and humbling themselves, they want to be proud and say, "I'm going to just keep trying to disprove it." We must then emphasize that to reject the New Testament accounts as true history is, by definition, to reject the canons of legitimate historical study. To reject the Gospels or the New Testament is to reject primary historical documentation in general. If this cannot be done, the New Testament must be retained as careful historical record. The New Testament has proven itself reliable in the crucible of history. It is the New Testament critic who has been unable to prove his case. Nor are the implications small. Legal scholar J.M.D. Anderson observes in Christianity, the Witness of History, it seems to me inescapable that anyone who chanced to read the pages of the New Testament for the first time would come away with one overwhelming impression: that here is a faith firmly rooted in certain allegedly historical events, a faith which would be false and misleading if those events had not actually taken place, but which, if they did take place, is unique in its relevance and exclusive in its demands on our allegiance. For these events did not merely set a process in motion and then themselves sink back into the past. The unique historical origin of Christianity is ascribed permanent, authoritative, absolute significance, and what happened once is said to have happened once for all, and therefore to have continuous efficiency. In essence, the Muslim claim that the New Testament has been corrupted textually is not only untrue, it can never be substantiated due to the nature of the textual and other evidence at hand. Simply put, facts are facts. The Muslims basically just say the New Testament is corrupted because they hate Christians, and they hate the Bible, and they hate Jesus. Now they say Jesus was a good man, but that's all. That's as far as they'll go. They hate anybody that's not a Muslim. They're told and taught that anybody that's not a Muslim is an infidel and an unbeliever and ought to be killed. So when they see us reading the Bible, they want to get mad and say the Bible's not real and you can put that garbage down. That's been corrupted. Your ancestors corrupted it. They have no proof to it. They just want to say that's what happened. You corrupted it. Even though I'm giving you verses, even though I've given you evidence that the Quran has been corrupted and it contradicts itself, and that and that it contradicts the Bible and everything else, and it's just so messed up. But yet the Bible's still the one corrupted though. Yeah. And so the one thing that Christians have so severely misinterpreted their own scriptures that they teach a false view of God, Jesus' salvation, and others. One must remember that we have had almost 2,000 years of universally accepted Christian doctrine that even skeptics of Christianity really confess the Bible teaches. This is why anyone who wishes can determine the basic doctrine of the New Testament just by studying it. The Bible says, study to show thyself approved unto God, as a workman that needs not to be ashamed. In conclusion, Muslims' claim relative to the New Testament are simply not credible. We can only trust that in some Muslims, as some Muslims have done in every generation since Islam was founded. Muslims today will impartially investigate the evidence for New Testament authenticity, and hopefully that they will respond accordingly. Let's see. That's about it for the teaching on Islam. I'll give y'all one thing. Now I'll just give y'all one thing. Do you want, now I'm going to offer you something. You've seen all that now.